Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today's video will be another breakdown of the updated version of the plot leak. I ran a poll on Twitter for you guys, and this was what the majority of you guys wanted the most. So let's get things started today. And let's break down Season 7, Episode 6, which will be the episode right before the finale during Season 7, which is typically Game of Thrones' most explosive episode. So buckle your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen, because shit's about to get crazy. And I just want to say first that I have no idea how much of this will come true, but if even half of this episode turns out to be true, then this is going to be the greatest episode in television history, in my opinion. But let's read through this and see what is even possible. Season 7, Episode 6 starts off with Jon Snow, Jorah Mormont, Theon Greyjoy, Davos Seaworth, and Gendry arriving at Castle Black. Lord Commander Ed and Jon Snow reunite. Ed tells Jon that the others arrived earlier that day, which were the Brotherhood Without Banners, who were also with Tormund Giantsbane and Brienne of Tarth. Okay, now let's break down this part. And personally, I think this is wrong. Jon Snow is going to arrive with these guys to the Wall, but I do not think it's going to be at Castle Black. It's actually going to be at Eastwatch by the Sea, just like I reported on back in October. The cast and crew have been in Iceland filming these scenes on the beach with the black sands, where they are going to touch ground first. And the original leak said that they would go to Eastwatch by the Sea, and considering everything else for this episode has appeared to be accurate, then I'm just going to assume that this is going to be accurate too. Jon and company are going to sail up to the Wall, and if they do make it out of the north with the captured White, they will probably transport the White by boat and take it around the Wall, not through the Wall, which may explain how they're able to get that White south. Tormund has arrived in Iceland, and so has Jon Snow. He's also came back, so that he can film scenes on and around this beach. And Davos, Jorah, Gendry, Thoros, and the Hound are all up there as well. And they're going to be the core group of characters that are at the Wall and beyond the Wall next season. But I highly doubt that Theon and Brienne are going to be there. I think they would have been spotted around town or on set by now, and none of the confirmed reports have ever mentioned either one of these characters being there, nor have any of the photos of them been seen in Iceland or Belfast. So I wouldn't expect to see Theon and Brienne be on the Wall next season. But overall, we will get a scene like this, but it will be at Eastwatch by the Sea, and Brienne and Theon will not be there in my opinion. Okay, the next scene says Gendry forgives Thoros of Myr and Beric Dondarrion for selling him to Melisandre. Beric also tells everyone that Jon Snow is Azor Ahai, which Tormund and Davos agree. Jon tells the Brotherhood Without Banners and the Night's Watch about his plan to capture a White. Davos stays behind and writes Daenerys a letter saying that if she comes and helps Jon, then they will lay down his title as King in the North. Then Jon and Davos give everyone some dragonglass that they retrieved from Dragonstone. Then the Wildlings, the Night's Watch, and the Brotherhood Without Banners head north of the Wall. Alright, I just want to stop right here because this is a huge scene that's coming up next. So I just want to break down what we have so far. And first, I do think Gendry is going to forgive Thoros and Beric. At least I think he's going to forgive them for the time being. Because we know from spoiler photos that they are filming together and they will be going on this dangerous mission together. So they are going to need to be civilized for right now. And second, is Beric going to say that Jon is Azor Ahai? I really don't know. It's kind of hard to predict what the dialogue is going to be next season, but my only guess is that if the conversation comes up about Jon being resurrected, then I could see people start to call him that. And considering Davos and Tormund know he came back from the dead, then I am sure that they think he is someone pretty damn special. Okay, third, does Jon tell the others about his plan to capture a White? I think that'd be pretty obvious and the most logical thing to do. I know if it was me, I wouldn't want to lead people blindly into a mission as dangerous as this is going to be. I would want them to be prepared for the worst. That way we are all on the same page when we do this. I think they need to plan this thing out as if they are like Navy SEALs, going behind enemy lines to capture an enemy with high target value. That way they can complete this mission and get everyone out alive. But that's just my opinion. So I think he is going to tell them what he wants to do. And fourth, will Davos write to Daenerys and tell her that Jon said he's going to lay down his title as King in the North as long as she comes up north and helps? Well, Davos just learned how to start reading like 2 days ago, so I don't know if he's already capable of writing letters on his own. And without anyone ripping my head off in the comment section, can I just say that I hate the sound of Jon offering to give up his title as king? I would think if Jon offered to help her with the Lannisters, then Daenerys should help Jon up north. If this is true and Jon does lay down his title, I'm wondering how Sansa's going to react to this. Most people already assume Sansa has a problem with Jon being named the king, so how is she going to react if Jon gives up all their power to another woman? I don't think she would appreciate that, not until she got to know Daenerys at least, and understood exactly why Jon had to do this. But again, this is just my 2 cents. But then it says Davos and Jon give everyone dragonglass that they got from Dragonstone. Now I do like the sound of this. As soon as Stannis said that there was plenty of dragonglass to be mined, I have been hoping that someone would go and get some. And once I saw the photos of Jon and Davos on the beach of Dragonstone, I assumed that was going to be one of the things that they would do while they are there. And considering Davos spent some time on Dragonstone with Stannis, I think he should be able to access some of it pretty quickly. And giving everyone some dragonglass for this mission would be the smart thing to do. Everyone should be armed to the teeth with some of this. I don't know if they're going to give everybody some, but I do think Jon and Davos will stock up while they are on Dragonstone. Alright, now let's move on to the second half of this scene. After a few minutes of screen time, they run into a white that is walking alone. The Hound tries to tie the white down, but it escapes, causing the Hound to chase after it. The group of characters corner the white between a cliff, a frozen lake, and the woods, which it emerged from. The white jumps off the cliff, and as it's falling over the cliff, you can see that there are actually hundreds of whites climbing up that cliff, and no one can see them coming. And that's when hundreds of more whites emerge from the woods. So now they are stuck on the edge of this cliff as whites are climbing up it, and whites are coming straight at them from the woods. Holy shit, that sounds intense. Then Thoros and Beric ignite their swords and begin the attack. The whites on the cliff make it to the top and start attacking the group from behind. Lord Commander Ed is killed immediately, as well as several other men from the Night's Watch. White Walkers start to emerge from the woods, and one of them is riding a giant ice spider. Thoros is then brutally killed by a zombie polar bear that seemed to come out of nowhere. The Hound tried to save him, but was unsuccessful. A White Walker with dual blades starts to attack Jon. Jon ends up being killed by the White Walker by being plunged by his sword into the gut. Brienne kills the White Walker with Oathkeeper. Jorah then picks up Longclaw that's laying next to Jon's dead body, and he starts to attack. A Brotherhood Without Banners member kills a White Walker with a dragonglass-tipped arrowhead. Gendry smashes a White's face in with his warhammer. Then the Night's King gets off his horse and fights Beric with his flaming sword, and that's when Daenerys arrives on Drogon, with Viserion flying next to them. Drogon incinerates dozens of Whites immediately, which clears a path that allows the group to escape back to the wall. The Hound subdues a White and takes it with him. As they are about to leave, a White Walker throws a massive ice spear into Drogon, which causes him to fly away erratically. The Night King then kills Viserion by plunging an ice sword through his eye. Beric then crawls over to Jon's dead body and gives him the kiss of life. Beric drops dead, then Jon is revived. And he picks up Beric's flaming sword and starts to kill some Whites, before he ends up being disarmed once again. And right as Jon is nearly killed again, his uncle Benjen comes to the rescue to save him. Benjen quickly puts Jon on his horse and whispers, "Goodbye, nephew." As Jon rides away, he helplessly watches his Uncle Benjen get swarmed by dozens of Whites and presumably killed. And as the episode is about to end, the Night King raises Viserion from the dead, and right as the screen is about to fade to black, we see Viserion's eyes turn blue. Holy shit, that was a lot to take in. Wow. Guys, I have absolutely no idea if any of this is going to come true, but goddamn, that sounds incredible. Alright, hold on. I'm going to recap this real quick. The group gets surrounded on a lake as hundreds of Whites comes running out of the woods in front of them, and hundreds of Whites are climbing up the cliff that's directly behind them. Beric and Thoros ignite their swords and begin the attack. Ed is killed, plus some other Night's Watch members. White Walkers come out of the woods riding ice spiders and zombie polar bears. Thoros gets brutally mauled by the polar bear, and a White Walker wielding dual swords murders Jon Snow. Then Brienne comes up with Oathkeeper and kills the White Walker. Jorah picks up Longclaw and begins attacking. A Brotherhood member shoots an arrow with a dragonglass tip, which kills another White Walker. Gendry starts smashing whites in the face with a warhammer. Daenerys shows up with her dragons and starts torching everything. Then a White Walker throws an ice spear into Drogon, and the Night King stabs Viserion through the eye, turning it into a zombie dragon. Beric then crawls over to Jon and gives him the kiss of life and dies. Jon gets up, picks up his flaming sword, and is almost fucking killed again. But Benjen shows up out of nowhere and sacrifices himself to save Jon. Jesus Christ, that's insane. Whew. First off, Jon dying again and being revived again is absolutely ridiculous. If someone can come back to life every damn time they die, then that would kind of take out all the tension and nervousness whenever they go into battle. If we know they're never going to die, then that takes out all the fun of not knowing what's going to happen to them during war. If Jon does die again, it will probably be in the very last episode of the series, not right here. But other than that, I love everything about this scene. It is the most action-packed scene this show has ever had written for it, in my opinion. And if this is fan fiction, they did a hell of a job of making me excited. We do know all these guys are going to go north of the wall, so there is a chance they do run into some serious trouble up there. Beric has used a flaming sword before, when he fought the Hound. And during the Siege of Pike, I believe Thoros Emir had his sword coated in wildfire. So these two characters entering a battle with flaming swords isn't crazy. And we know that Gendry has a warhammer thanks to the leaked photos. And old Nan did mention ice spiders before, so I wouldn't be surprised if we did see them. So I don't know, guys. What do you guys think about this? Do you get as excited as I do when you hear something like this? In the books, Beric does give Lady Catelyn the kiss of life, which turns her into Lady Stoneheart. So all of this stuff is based off of things that are true to the story. So none of this sounds too crazy to me. I just don't like the part about Jon dying again. But comment below and tell me what you think about this. I absolutely love it, but I want to know how you guys feel. So thanks for taking the time to listen to this. You know I always appreciate it, and I will see you guys down in the comment section. Let's talk about this shit. Bye, guys. Finale during Season 7, which is typically Game of Thrones' most explosive episode. So buckle your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen, because shit's about to get crazy. And I just want to say first that I have no idea how much of this will come true, but if even half of this episode turns out to be true, then this is going to be the greatest episode in television history, in my opinion. But let's read through this and see what is even possible. Season 7, Episode 6 starts off with Jon Snow, Jorah Mormont, Theon Greyjoy, Davos Seaworth, and Gendry arriving at Castle Black. Lord Commander Ed and Jon Snow reunite. Ed tells Jon that the others arrived earlier that day, which were the cast and crew have been in Iceland filming these scenes on the beach with the black sands, where they are going to touch ground first. And the original leak said that they would go to Eastwatch by the sea, and considering everything else for this episode has appeared to be accurate, then I'm just going to assume that this is going to be accurate too. Jon and company are Brotherhood without banners, who were also with Tormund Giantsbane and Brienne of Tarth. Okay, now let's break down this part. And personally, I think this is wrong. Jon Snow is going to arrive with these guys to the wall, but I do not think it's going to be at Castle Black. It's actually going to be at Eastwatch by the Sea, just like I reported on back in October. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today's video will be another breakdown of the updated version of the plot leak. I ran a poll on Twitter for you guys, and this was what the majority of you guys wanted the most. So let's get things started today. And let's break down Season 7, Episode 6, which will be the episode right before the finale.